The multiplication table gives us all the whole numbers from 0 to 12. And again, we can look at the box on the furthest right for me, the furthest left for you, where it says 8x, and we see that 8 times 5 equals 40, just like the box with 5x has 5 times 8 equals 40. So you can use this multiplication table as a reference as you work through your homework problems, your homework worksheet. You can make up problems on your own and check the multiplication table to make sure you're coming up with the correct answers. Again, the key word is the correct answers. And I do expect you to know your multiplications from 1 through 12. Don't fret. Don't think it's a lot. I know it looks like a lot, but as you continue to work through the different problems at home and in class, you will be able to multiply using whole numbers 1 through 12. And as you go on to the 6th grade, the 7th grade, the 8th grade, you will work with more whole numbers to do multiplications. You will work with fractions. So right now, this is what I want you to focus on. This is what our lesson will continue to be over, multiplication problems. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to some strategies of how to solve multiplication problems? Okay, here we go. This is a picture of a teacher showing her students one of the strategies you can use to solve multiplication problems. 1 times 3 equals 3. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct, Lamont. How do you know that? That is correct. It is on the multiplication table worksheet that I just handed out. But what we can do is look at the multiplication problem. And it is asking if we take 1 of something and times it by 3, we should get 3. And the teacher is using little tick marks. So the next example, it says 2 times 3 equals 6. We do know that's correct because it is on our multiplication table. But if you didn't have that table, I want to show you, as the teacher is explaining, how you can figure it out yourself. And again, this is one of the problem-solving strategies for multiplication. You can use a tick mark. It's telling you that there are 2 of something. So she has 2 groups, and each group has 3 in it because we have 2 times 3. So the first group has 3, and the second group has 3. So now when we look at it visually, doing multiplication problems, we know these ticks are telling us 2 of something times 3 equals 6. Let's count the tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know that's correct because 2 groups times 3 is 3 ticks in 2 groups equals 6. Is that correct? So this is one of the problem-solving strategies you can use. If you ever get stuck and you want to make little tick marks, you will know that one of the numbers is going to be the group and the other number is going to be how many is in that group. Do we understand, or do we have any questions? Okay, Barbara, if you have a question, go ahead. You can speak it. It's okay. You don't have to whisper to Leonard. You can ask me. Yes, the next question says 3 times 3 equals 9. You are absolutely correct. you write out or you put 3 tick marks, and you put 3 tick marks in each group. And if you count them, that does equal 9. Good job, Barbara. Any other questions? Okay, here is another problem-solving strategy that we can use when we are working through multiplication problems. Here we see some ice cream cones. As it indicates here, there are 4 columns and there are 3 rows. If we count these, what number will we get? That is correct, Sam. The number is 12. Tell the class how you arrived at that solution. That is correct. As the picture indicates, there are 4 columns, and you indicated you counted 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and then there are 3 rows which run from left to right. A top row, a middle row, and a bottom row. 4 up and down columns times 3 rows equals 12. Sam is correct. By looking at these ice cream cones and taking how many rows there are from left to right, multiplying how many columns there are up and down, it will help you to arrive at how many ice cream cones are in the picture, and that is 12. Another method you can use is skip counting. 0, 3, 6, 9, 12. Now, if we wanted to take those numbers and make a multiplication problem out of that, how will we do it? Okay, Linda, you are actually correct. To do 2 times 3, we know that that equals 6. We see there are 2 dots under the arch. So 3 times 2 more will give us 6. So Linda is correct. You can start on the 0, hop. You can start on the 0, hop 3 spaces, and we can do this 4 times based on this line that we have pictured here. We can also do a word problem. Will somebody read the word problem? Raise your hand. Nobody wants to read? Okay, I know it's a lot tackling multiplication problems. I'll read. My teacher brought ice cream to school. She is giving 3 scoops to each student. After she serves the first 4 students, how many scoops has she given away? So we see no numbers in this word problem, correct? But we know we are working on multiplication problems. So if I, your teacher, bring ice cream to school and I give you all 3 scoops each, and I've given out 3 scoops to 4 people, how many scoops have I given out so far? That is correct, Sam. 4 times 3 is 12. So we took the 3 scoops and 4 people and multiplied those together to tell us how many scoops that the teacher has given out. The next picture is equal groups. So we have 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many do we have in each group? 3, that is correct. So 4 times 3 equals 12. This is a different way to answer multiplication questions. And again, we are discussing strategies so you can tackle your multiplication problems. Again, we asked in the beginning, what is a problem? We confirm that the problems we are working on are multiplication problems. To solve the multiplication problems, we reviewed the 4-step problem-solving process. We understand the problem. We come up with a plan to solve the problem. We put our plan into action, and then we verify that our solution is correct. So with the equal groups, we can count each picture in the bubble to confirm that we have arrived at the correct answer. So now we are going to answer some multiplication questions as a class. Again, I need you to please raise your hand. All right, that was our timer. We are going to start. The first question is, Jacob arranged his cars using the array shown below. Write an expression to determine how many cars he has. So what we'll do is use the problem-solving strategies that we just used to determine how many cars he has. Now we could count them and find out the answer, but again, we're learning about multiplication, so we're going to use the strategies that we have learned. So remember, columns are up and down, rows are left to right. So Sandy, how many columns do we see? That is correct. We see 4 columns of cars. Now, how many rows of cars do we see, Andy? That is correct. We see 3 rows of cars. So our question asks us to write an expression to determine how many cars he has. So we have 4 columns and 3 rows. Yes, that is correct, Karen. The answer is 12. We take 4 times 3, which will give us 12. We can count the cars, and that will let us know that our answer is correct. Number 14 says, Liz arranged her garden using the array shown below. Write an expression to determine how many vegetables she planted. So again, we can count or we can use what we've learned and look at the rows and look at the columns. Or we can even use the stick figures. We can use a number of strategies to figure out the solution. Even still, we can use our multiplication table. Or it's not a lot, we could just count, right? But again, we're doing multiplication. All right, TT, tell me what the answer is to our problem. That is correct. We have 2 rows and we have 8 columns. 8 times 2 is 16. That is correct. We can confirm that Lizzie has 16 vegetables planted in her garden. The next question, Layla organized her blocks in rows by color. Write an expression to determine how many blocks she has. Raise your hand. That is correct, Chester. There are 20 blocks. Number 16. Sabrina planted her flowers in rows. Write an expression to determine how many flowers she has. That is correct. She has 30 flowers. That is 6 times 5. You guys are doing wonderful with your multiplication problems. I am so glad you are understanding.